From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, February the 13th, 2017. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu departed Israel this morning for Washington, where on Wednesday he will meet with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House. Before leaving, the Prime Minister spoke to the press, saying that the upcoming meeting with the new American president was of the utmost importance.
I'm going to Washington to have a very important meeting with President Trump. I'll also be meeting with Vice President Pence, with the Secretary of State Tillerson, and with Republican leaders and Democratic leaders on Capitol Hill. The alliance between Israel and America has always been extremely strong. It's about to get even stronger. President Trump and I see eye to eye on the dangers emanating from the region, but also on the opportunities. And we'll talk about both, as well as upgrading the relations between Israel and the United States in many, many fields.
The Speaker of Britain's House of Commons arrived in Israel today. John Bercow was welcomed to Israel's parliament, the Knesset, by the British and Israeli national anthems played. He met with his counterpart, Knesset Speaker Yuli Edelstein. Bercow is the first Speaker of the House of Commons to pay an official visit to Israel, where he will spend 3 days, during which he will meet with young political leaders and also lay a wreath at the Yad Vashem Holocaust Museum in Jerusalem. And a delegation of the National Football League is arriving in Israel tonight. 7 members of the NFL are taking part in the trip. The group of players was initially supposed to be 11. However, several of them reportedly decided not to take part in the trip because of some feelings of discomfort, led by Seahawks defensive end Michael Bennett, who, after reading statements about the itinerary and hopes that the NFL players would get a balanced view of Israel and then be able to be goodwill ambassadors for the country, Bennett said that he felt he was being used. Israel's tourism and public diplomacy ministries had announced the trip last week. It will include visits to Yad Vashem in Jerusalem, the Dead Sea, and various sites, as well as Christian sites in the Galilee. Terror group Hamas held elections for its internal leadership, naming a convicted murderer as the group's new head, 55-year-old Yahya Sanwar. Sanwar was sentenced to life in prison in 1989 in Israel for murdering Palestinian collaborators with Israel. He served 22 years and was released in 2011 in the Gilad Shalit prisoner exchange deal. In 2015, Sanwar was added to the U.S. terrorism blacklist. Since his release, he has continued to advocate for kidnapping IDF soldiers and is known as a violent and radical extremist. Israel will soon have a permanent exhibit at UNESCO, the cultural arm of the United Nations. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced its decision to place a replica of the 7-branched menorah that is featured on the Arch of Titus in Rome at UNESCO headquarters in Paris. Israel's ambassador to UNESCO, Carmel Shama-HaKohen, met with the body's Director General Irina Bakova about the exhibit, which will be presented in an official ceremony with ambassadors from all over the world. HaKohen said the decision to place the scene from the Arch of Titus, which depicts Jews, the menorah, and other holy symbols following the destruction of the Second Temple going into exile in UNESCO, presents an objective historical truth engraved in stone by a non-Jewish ruler 600 years before the appearance of Islam in the world. The exhibit is part of an initiative by Israel to combat attempts to deny Jewish connection to Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. And a photography exhibit sharing the beauty of Israel is coming to the United Nations in New York. The Israel Nature and Parks Authority, in cooperation with Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, will present 30 photographs taken by Israeli photographers that reflect Israel's nature, its efforts to protect endangered species, and water conservation. Danon said Israel takes a significant part in global environmental protection and nature conservation efforts, and this is an opportunity to show the world the beautiful side of Israel. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, February the 13th. At 7 o'clock, it's the wisdom of Dr. Ruth Westheimer. At 7:30, a look at Orthodox women rabbis. At 8, it's the opening plenary of the 2017 Jewish Orthodox Feminist Alliance Conference and the honoring of its founding president, Blue Greenberg. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with the first woman Orthodox rabbi, Rabbi Sarah Hurwitz, on L'chaim. And at 10, TV journalist David Gregory and Jewish ethicist Erica Brown discuss faith and Jewish identity with Rabbi Peter Rubenstein at the 92nd Street Y. And coming up right after this newscast tonight at 6:30, it's In the News. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, February the 13th, 2017. I'm Teisha Bader.